Welcome back to Chapters Create Character. Who's ready to hear some books today? I know I am. My name is Legend Moore, and my mom, Rakisha, will be reading Chapter 24 of A Whale of the Wild. Enjoy the video.
Chapter 24, Salmon. I stop hunting for a moment, just a moment, to let out a deep cha of gratitude. They followed me. They were more exhausted, more hurt, more sad than they have ever been in their lives. But they followed me, just the same. I thought about giving up when the way markers looked so different. I felt like giving up when we saw the kelp forests broken away from their holdfasts and the sandy beaches stripped down to bare rocks. I did not know I had the strength to keep going. But here we are. One right thing in an upside-down world. I watched my family with a rush of pride. I found food for them like a true wayfinder. Even Altair has made a catch of his own. We did this together. We are the youngest of our kinship, and we found our salmon. All around me, other hunters grab their share. Seals, sea lions, eagles. They eat their fill, and still the salmon do not run up the river to escape. Something prickles my memory. Look to the water. What touches the water touches us all. The memory of my great mother's words rings like the warning bell. Salmon are never this easy to hunt. Something is wrong. I check the mud for the broad fishtail that marks the river's mouth. The bottom is scraped down to bare gravel. I look to the shore for the opening of the river. I search for the push of fresh water against my body. I lift my head above the skin of the sea. Where there was once an outlet, now there is a tangle of broken trees, boulders, and land boats. I leap to look over the tangle. Behind it, water stretches out in a vast, flat lake, where there was once grass and trees and the nests of more birds than there are stars in the sky. All of it is underwater. I turn back to the salmon, now many fewer than before. A bull sea lion bites deep into a salmon right in front of me. Its belly bursts open. 1,000 red orange eggs pour out and swirl before me like tiny bubbles. They dance for a moment in sunlit waters and then sink into the darkness. The sight of them hits me like a bolt of lightning. Salmon go to the mountains to have their babies. They are wayfinders too. They travel out of the blue wilderness, across the Salish Sea, and into its farthest reach to find the opening of this river. But now, their way is blocked. No river, no babies. I feel the tug of those 1,000 tiny lives that will never be born. They are not my kinship, not my family, and yet everything I love will be lost without them. I turn in a frantic circle. Everywhere I look, salmon are being devoured. Deneb, stop! Stop? Deneb says, quickly swallowing the salmon he has caught in one gulp. Why? A cloud of silver scales shimmers around him. They fall through the water like rain. What have I done? Aquila! I shout, but Aquila is deep in the dwindling mass of salmon, frantically eating one after another. Hunger is all she can hear. I am sick inside, as though I have swallowed stones. Deneb, we have to stop hunting and get these salmon to their home river. If we eat them all, they'll never have babies. Deneb stops. He looks at me. If you eat everything, you make a wasteland of the sea, he says. Mother used to tell me that. Yes, they need the river. What river? I do not understand how this happened, but I know it is wrong. Rivers run into the sea, as constant as the stars that swim across the night sky, always in the same direction. I leap again to look over the barrier blocking the mouth of the river. There are boats on the vast lake, long boats with the beak in front like a great bird. The long boat riders. They are salmon hunters too. Are they coming to take? I watch them, sick with dread. Soon the riders are standing on the rubble. Some have sticks with a big tooth on the end. They lunge and bite at the broken trees. They clear branches away. They prod boulders free with long sticks. I have never seen humans do this work before. They are trying to open the river's mouth. But the rubble is thick and heavy, and they are only humans. I swim along the barrier, click streaming with sides of it, probing for a place to break through. The rubble is thick everywhere, but some places are more rocky and some are choked with overturned land boats. Those will be hard to move. But a little farther on, I find a spot that is mostly trees with mud and sand. Trees float, and water can push away mud. We have to open the river, I shout to Deneb. Try here. Deneb grabs a branch in his teeth. It breaks off. He tries again. It breaks again. And the trunk is still in place. We need help, I say. I call Aquila's name, but she is still deep in the hunt and does not hear me. I hurry back to the humans, wondering how I will tell them to come. Nobody even agrees that humans can talk. I leap to get their attention. They look up from their work, but only for a moment. I study them carefully and choose the one with the pearl-colored hair. The others listen to her. When she points, they go where she is pointing. A human wayfinder. Perfect. This way, I call to her. We need your help. Our salmon will die if you do not come. The human wayfinder does not hear me. Hurry, I shout. She keeps working with her fellow humans. I snatch a salmon by the tail and show it to her. I toss it onto the barrier in front of her. She bends down and takes the salmon in her grabbers. She carries it to the other side of the barrier and sets it tenderly in the water. Then she turns and looks me right in the eye. I swim toward Deneb, keeping to the surface so that she can see me clearly. She follows. I lead her to the weak spot. I take a tree trunk in my mouth and pull. It does not budge. I put my head against it and push with all my strength. The human probes into the mud with her stick. She waves and shouts to her kinship, and they come. I watch her as she shows the other humans where to go and what to do. Lines come out. They wrap them around the tree trunks. Several humans take hold of the lines and pull. Deneb and I go below and push. We can hear the humans chant as they work, all leaning together to give one pull the strength of many pullers. When I come up for air, I see more boats, long and little, paddling across the flooded river. More humans join the work. Some have sticks with a raven tail shape at the end. They push the raven tail end into the sand and gravel and scoop up bites of the mud that holds the trees fast. The first trunk comes free, but a larger one is beneath it. More lines, more pulling. Deneb takes a small trunk in his teeth and wiggles it loose. Humans shout and clap their grabbers together when he carries it away. I swim below to inspect the barrier. I find the tree trunk. They are trying to work free. It is a massive thing, wedged between two boulders. I put my forehead to the flatter side of one boulder and churn my flukes as hard as I can. It will not budge. I'll help, Deneb says. He puts his head to the boulder, but cannot budge it either. It's too deep in the sand, I say. I turn my flukes to the task, pumping them up and down. I make a swirl of water that stirs up the sand and carries it away. With the sand gone, we can see the trunk bending as the humans above try to pull it free. They are wedging the boulder in more tightly. They need to stop, I tell Deneb. How can we get them to stop? It would be so much better if humans could talk properly. Humans don't like to be wet, Deneb says. He speeds toward the surface and leaps clear of the water right beside the humans. He flips to his back in the air and hits the water with a mighty crash. His wave splashes over the whole row of humans, and they drop the line. Now, Deneb shouts. I put my head to the boulder again and push with all my strength. It rocks. I churn my flukes harder, and it rocks some more. Deneb squeezes in beside me, and together we roll the boulder clear. A shudder goes through the whole barrier. I feel my tiny pushes of water filtering through the thick bank of sand and mud and debris that the boulder was holding in place. The humans shake water from their bodies. They pick up the line again. They chant again. They pull harder. The barrier shakes even more. Humans with scoopers move the sand and gravel away. The land behind the barrier presses, groaning against the tangle of rubble. Deneb, I shout. Aquila, Altair, move away. A jolt almost like a sea shake makes the barrier tremble. It creaks and shudders against the pressure of water. The largest of the trunks pulls free and unleashes the power of the river. It pushes and grinds away the sand and muck. Water swirls through a gap that widens with each beat of my racing heart. The humans drop their line. They shout, raise their grabbers high, leap in the air, and then the water sweeps the barrier away right beneath their feet. Oh no, Deneb groans. Humans aren't good at being wet. Even as he says it, a huge surge of murky water breaks through. A channel opens. I squeeze my eyes and breather close as a blast of gritty water tumbles me end over end and scrapes my skin raw. I right myself and fight for breath. Where's my family? I scan the surface for fins. Denebs pops up in front of me, and Altair's tiny fin bobs in the swirling water. Aquila! I shout. I sprint to Altair's side to shelter him. The bull sea lion roars in frustration at his interrupted feast. He calls his mothers together and swims to the nearest rocky shore. They haul their bodies out of the water and shake the silt from their fur, growling in protest. Seals follow them, and even the eagles take cover. The gap in the rubble widens, and the river grows stronger as the enormous lake behind the barrier flows out like a mighty wind.